Welcome everybody to today's webinar, how to structure your wiki with metadata for Confluence. My name is Franziska Patzig and I am part of the Marketing and Communications Department, where I am in charge of the product marketing. With me is my colleague David Toussaint, and he's the product manager for metadata for Confluence. And together we will answer your questions at the end of the webinar. First of all, let's see, just a technical thing. First, let's see how to use GoToWebinar for those who are not familiar yet with the program. First of all, you have the possibility to collapse the panel to see the presentation better. To turn your microphone on and off, you have a button here, but all of the participants will be muted during the presentation. And furthermore, you have the possibility to signal here to get attention. If you have a problem, just give a signal. And well, you have here a panel for the Q&A section. So meanwhile, if there are any problems or if you have any question, you can just enter it here, and we will answer that at the end of the webinar. A quick introduction of Communardo. Communardo was founded in 2001 in Dresden, and we have more than 200 employees working in Dresden, Stuttgart, and our new office in Cologne. We are a specialist for internal communication and collaboration in the enterprise, as well as Atlassian Platinum and enterprise experts. We are offering a variety of add-ons for Atlassian software, and we are Atlassian verified, which assures a certain standard for quality, reliability, and support. We offer more than 12 add-ons within the Atlassian marketplace, with more than 4,000 active installations. And metadata for Confluence is, with its latest version 2.0, is the one we are going to tinker with in today's webinar. So what we are doing within the next about 45 minutes is I will present you the add-on in a live demo from those three perspectives, which is, first of all, Els Müller. She's a usual Confluence user, editing, searching, and creating new content. And as a second, there is Paul Keller, which is a space administrator whose aim is to optimize use cases within this space and who is able to add metadata within that specific space. Lastly, there is Christina Chantin, my colleague, which is a Confluence administrator and responsible for managing the global metadata, and those are valid for the whole wiki. Well, let's go right to the live demo, which I prepared here. What you've got here is the profile from Els Müller. And as you can see here, there is quite a huge blank space, but I will talk about this later on. So first of all, Els is responsible for maintaining the product directory, which is a certain space in our Confluence demo. So let's take a look at that. First of all, we have the product directory right here, where you can see the products, documentation, add links, product manager, and so on. So a lot of details. And it is an extract of our own product directory, so those are real values here. So what's Els's task? The product manager of user profiles for Confluence changed, so she needs to adjust that. Well, let's take a look here at the product page, which we've got here. What you can see here is some general product information, such as product manager, etc. And if we edit this one, where this table has been, there is now our macro display metadata. And this little icon you can see here, you have over here too. And if you open that, you have the editor for the metadata right on the side. First of all, you can link to a product documentation, let's say Communardo. And you can just give it a title as well. Let's say okay. The other thing is you have the product manager software architect, which are users from Confluence, and you have the technology as well as other products which are connected to this one. So now we wanted to change the product manager. It's not Christina Chantin anymore. It's now David. So let's change that here. And as you are used in Confluence, if you start writing, you get suggestions like David Chasson. And that's already it. We can save that. And the first task is finished. Now we see our metadata in this table, which is updated. And you have the metadata you've got here as well as an overview. So as you've seen, it's pretty easy to fill in the needed information for Elsa. And she can choose from predefined values and has information in mandatory fields, which is making it pretty easy for her to do that. And it fosters to have consistent metadata within the system. All right, another task of Elsa is to create a new page for a product. Well, let's go back to the product directory. And you have two possibilities to add a new page, but I guess you already know that. First of all, there is the create button on top here, and there is another one which we entered here to have it all together on one page to create a new product page. So let's just try that. Just a second. Okay, all right. So now we can just give it a name. Let's say product 1. And we save it. So as you can see, there is no metadata information here yet. But she liked to have them displayed, so she informs the space administrator, Paul Keller, which is now checking her use case and which goes to the space administration. I prepared his login as well. Okay, now we are, as you can see, logged in as Paul, and we are again at the space, and we can just go to the space administration. As you can see here, he has an overview over all the metadata fields in his space, the global metadata, which he can't change, and the metadata sets, which are available within his space. Well, now to explain how metadata works in Confluence, I prepared a graphic. Let's go straight there. Okay. First of all, yeah, as I said, you have a space with a couple of pages. And as a space admin, you may add metadata sets, such as the product directory. And you can as well add a couple of metadata fields, such as documentation or product manager or software architect. And those as a bundle are one of those sets. Now you have two ways to link pages in metadata sets. The first of all is to link a template with a set, what Elsa wished for, and the other one is to link it to a page directly or set it as a default set. It's also possible to add multiple sets, like the product directory or another set for quality management to one page. The global sets are valid for all spaces and can be altered by the admin. Can't be altered by the space admin, but by the Confluence admin. So Paul may edit the fields and set for his space, but not for the spaces for Confluence. Well, so what Elsa wished for additionally was a field for the contact person marketing. So let's just do that. We go back to Paul, and he can easily, in his space administration, add a metadata field, which we call contact person marketing. From type it's a user, and we save that. So now we have the new field right here, and but what we have to do is to link that field to a set. That's what we do now. We go back to sets, and we have our product directory set right here, and we can edit it easily. And here we go, and we just choose the metadata field we want to add here, the contact person marketing, and we add it to this specific set. Yeah, save. And what we've seen, what we can do too, and just shortly going back, is if it's required, if you need that information, of course you can check the box here, and later on the user has to fill it in, otherwise it can't be saved. Okay, so that's what we did. If we go back now to Elsa, over here, if we have our user profiles page, we have the contact person marketing at our set as well, and we can just fill it in. Let's say that's me. And so now I'm part of that page too. Okay. So that was pretty easy to edit, and it's on all the pages where the set is attached to. All right. So well, another thing that's important, what we've seen, what we have to do now is if we have a new page, for example, products, what we can do, as I said, is to link sets to templates. What we have to do is, or Paul has to do, is to link this set to a template. And he can easily do that by just choosing the template here for the product directory and add the template. The other possibility was to set it as default set, which is, for this example, we won't do that because if you check that box, what you do is to have it set for all the pages you have in this space. And for example, if you have a meeting protocol, you don't need that product catalog, product directory set here. Okay, let's save that. And if Elsa wants to have, okay, let's close that first and go back to the product directory. If she now creates a new page, as you can see, now the metadata editor opens up right away, and she has to fill in all the information which are required, such as the product manager, which is Christina, and the software architect, which is Tino, and technology, which is Confluence. Otherwise, she's not able to save that page. Okay, let's save that. Awesome. So, well, now you've seen that a regular user, what a regular user does with metadata and how it can be easily entered and edited. We also saw how an admin can support her doing so and adding fields and predefined values to choose from. Well, if we added the, first of all, that's the thing with filling information. That's one thing we can do, editing and adding information, but we can use them as well for really mighty overviews. So let's take a look at that. Let's go to the product catalog. So now we're back here. If you take a close look at the page, what you see here is that we used a couple of macros. One is a really helpful one, which is not from Communardo, the table filter macro, which is this one here, which works well together with metadata. There are a couple of other add-ons which we tested, which are complement each other pretty well, like this table filter macro. And what we've got here now is the metadata overview. It's used for creating reports, and from Confluence 5.9 it's possible to use CQL within the macro. And this one now, as you can see, CQL is filtered by the label product. But let's take a closer look at that. Yeah, as I said, the label product. You can add another filter, and you see there are a couple of default filters which you have usually in Confluence, but beside that you have, for example, technology. Let's take a look. Technology here you can see where it has been used before in other spaces, like just for the product overview, or in our case for the product directory. So we choose this one here. This is our metadata. Okay, and now you get all the options suggested, which we entered before. So let's use Confluence here. All right, and in the preview, you can see all the products which use or which are based on the technology Confluence. Well, further, you have many more possibilities to adjust this overview, such as adding an author or sort the results you get here. Okay, by saving, what you get now is this filtered list with just products based on Confluence. There are a lot of more helpful macros which combine the power of metadata. Another example is the macro filter by content. To show you that, I'm going back in the edit mode and I'm choosing a macro, which is in German Stichworte. Okay, now you have here there, and you can choose the label, which we choose the label product, and we added another filter. Again, let's say we use technology, and now we are choosing Jira. Let's see what happens. So now what we can see is, again, another kind of filter by the label product. So we see every product which is based on the technology Jira. And again, that's our metadata, which we are using here. Okay, let's insert that. Great. So as you can see, there are a lot of possibilities to use metadata within macros, which are using CQL. Let's save that quickly. Otherwise, it's a little bit more complicated or even not possible. So that works within macros. For those macros work in the search as well. For example, you can add another filter again over here, and of course you have all our metadata in here as well. Alright, so now you've seen how well integrated metadata is within Confluence and how to use it in filters in the Confluence search, and how well you can structure your wiki with metadata. Finally, there's another role I wanted to just quickly show you. For that, I'm going back to the presentation, since I don't have the login. Now that happens again. Well, okay. The third role I wanted to show you was the one from Christina, which is Confluence Administrator, and which can configure metadata throughout the system. She can go in the Confluence administration right to the metadata dialog, where she sees the fields and sets which are available throughout Confluence. So she's responsible for the whole system. So if, for example, Paul needs another set, which should be available throughout the system, he has to go to Christina and ask her to set it up. All right. Before getting to the Q&A section, I'd like to show you 2 more use cases for metadata. For that, let's go back to our demo. As I said in the beginning, for Elsa, for example, you have a blank spot here. In comparison, if we now, I will just briefly log in myself. Thank you. You can see the difference here. I have a newsfeed here, which Elsa does not have. You can customize the dashboard by combining metadata with user profiles for Confluence and create user-specific queries. Those news channels here are based on specific fields in the user profile. We can just take a quick look at my profile. For example, I choose to see the channel developer, Entwickler, and I wrote down that I'm part of the marketing team and that I'm located in Dresden, and which is not quite correct here, but I choose the position of consultant, which is important later on. Well, you can combine the information from the user profile field location, in this case Dresden, with the analog metadata of the news to get a location-based newsfeed within your wiki dashboard. Thank you. And if you take a closer look here, right, at one of the articles, you can see the metadata. There's here the same field, location, Dresden, and that's how I, who told in my profile that I am from Dresden, that I get those information which are for Dresden. And maybe if Elsa writes down Stuttgart or anything else, she will see just the articles which are meant for that location. All right. So the second example I wanted to show you is within our QMS solution. This is our own solution, but now we don't have the time to take a deeper look in it. So let's just focus on the use of metadata here. Our QMS works based on metadata and the profile information. For example, here on the side, processes which are important to me. There are solely processes displayed which are important or relevant to a consultant, because I said I'm a consultant in my profile, and so I just get the ones displayed here which are meant for consultants. You can take a deeper look here. Now we see again there is the metadata overview macro, and if we take a deeper look, we can see here that it takes the information from the current user's position to have everything that's important displayed. All right, let's close that. And another example is the project management process. Here is another metadata macro. The display metadata macro, which we've seen in the product directory before. It works in a similar manner with filters, etc. All right, the last thing I'd like to show you is the metadata history. If you go to those three dots here, you have metadata history as an option. And here you can see who changed what on this page when, which is pretty important. All right. And so thus you've seen a lot of possibilities to work and utilize metadata and structure your wiki, or customize your wiki in this case. So the best thing would be you just try it out yourself, and to do so you can just go to the Atlassian Marketplace, of course, and get yourself a free 30 days trial. We are Atlassian verified, which guarantees a quick compatibility with the latest version of Confluence in this case. And of course, the add-ons are supported. So, of course, if there are any questions, please feel free to get in touch with us, with either me or my colleague David. And so now we've got already time for your questions. Okay. The first question is metadata available via REST calls?
Hi, David speaking here. Yes, with the release of Metadata 2.0, we introduced REST APIs that can do a lot of things with metadata, and we also published a documentation about this. So, which browser should I take? Whatever. Or? Okay. So I'm quickly showing you where to find it. If you go to support. Communardo.de, you find our public support portal, a Confluence instance, especially for support for our add-ons and for some projects. So you have here the documentation for metadata for Confluence, one of those entries here, which is a separate space here. And give me a second. There is documentation about the REST API somewhere hidden here. Let me quickly check this. So if you go to, yeah, it's within the release 2.0, you find the developer's guide, and it should be that they, okay, you have two sub-pages here. The one is a quick setup of metadata API, only available in version 2, and some information about the internal metadata structure and basic usage, which shows some examples. We quickly go into here, so you have install something, and yeah, then basically we can start with the documentation here. If you have questions regarding specific uses of one of those REST endpoints, the best would be to write either Francisco or me an email about that, and we'll forward this to our developers. Yeah.
Okay, so there is another question, which is everyone who has edit permissions can change metadata. If you're talking about adding new metadata fields or sets, that's just for the space administrator, or if it's for the whole system, the Confluence administrator. Yeah. If there is no set attached to the page or to the template, they can't enter any metadata. That's what we saw in the middle when Else created a new page where no set was linked to. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Any other questions? There was another question that if it's possible to turn a local set into a global set. Unfortunately, that's not possible. You have to set it up anew as a Confluence administrator if you want to do that. Oh, there's another one. Is it possible to change the order of the input fields? Yeah, it is possible. The thing is, what I experienced is that you have to add the fields according to the order you want to. So you can't just drag and drop. You have to know which order you want them in. But that's easily done though. Okay, so if there are no further questions, I'd like to thank you very much for your attention. And thank you very much. I'm wishing you a good day. Bye-bye.